Hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Look at
Hi.
that
I wanted to
view.
share this view with you. I realize I get to
Yeah.
look at it every day and you're not feeling very well. I just heard that. So I just wanted to share a little of this beautiful nature with you.
Wow.
I feel like I
Thank
have
you.
worked my ass off this year to be able to be here for a little while, all from happenstance and find nature healing. So I just want to share some virtual nature and love and healing with you tonight,
Thank
today.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, please introduce us to who you are, though.
All right. What's up? It's good to see you. I want to learn about you too. But I'm Ben Curtis. I am a personal freedom and masculine embodiment coach, mostly for men. And I'm also an award-winning speaker, actor, and musician. I do what I love, and I help other people do the same. And really, underneath all that is my commitment to helping the world through love and helping people connect from their head to their heart. And I find that men have less spaces or feel less permission to do that. So I tried to lead by example and then help other men do the same. And during the pandemic, it just became clear that my coaching was what I needed to lean into, and it's taken off, and it's also allowed space for me to travel and continue to play music and audition from abroad and connect with awesome people like you. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, because I know that you're a very busy person.
Well, you create big things and things happen, and we're all busy people with busy lives and busy brains. So my schedule, my calendar looks busy, but I get to do what I love a lot, and I schedule time for myself too, and make time for things like this. It's really important for me to connect with people and learn to meet new people and get in front of new people and just have a conversation, because that's the most healing thing we can do right now, I think.
All right, awesome, awesome. Okay, two-part question.
Okay.
What is the lion's den?
hmm Okay.
And then when you answer that, then I'll ask the second question.
Okay. Before we do that, are you okay? Like, I heard you talking about how sick you are.
No, I'll live. I'm on
Okay.
antibiotics. I'll live.
Okay. Well, I just
Yeah.
want to honor you for showing up and not even
Oh,
like,
thank
y'all, this girl's real. She didn't even, this woman, I should say, she didn't even try to reschedule. And you were sick. You had an option to, and you didn't. So whatever that took, I just want to say thank you for showing up and showing up for your people.
Wow, that was so freaking nice of you. Oh
Of
my
course.
gosh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I try to be, I'm trying to be known as a woman of her word.
Mm. Well, you are.
Um,
I mean, you either are or you aren't, right? Like, we can
yeah.
try, we can make an effort today. So you either are like in that or not. And if you're not, at least you have the awareness. You can be like, all right, where can I improve on that? I work on that a lot. We're human and we're imperfect, but the more we practice doing it, the easier it gets, I think.
Yeah.
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 So,
Okay, so talk to us about the lion's
all
den.
right. So the lion's den is, it came to me. I've been, so like I said, long story short, 9 months ago, really when the pandemic was kicking up and I was inside of this incredible coaching program with Preston Smiles and Zion Kim called Kaboom, it just fell in my lap. I knew it was for me.
What?
You know those guys?
Do I know those guys? Are you kidding me? Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
6 degrees of separation is so real. Okay, please keep going.
Okay, all right. So I've known Preston and Alexi for a long time. They've seen my wife and I naked because we did one of their workshops in which it's very vulnerable. And I just saw my buddy and I in that program. His name's John Tran, and we saw a need to talk about masculinity and healing, like toxic masculinity and all the stuff we're seeing in the world and our leadership. And so we started this live series called Divine Masculine Mondays, and we've been talking to men and women and creatives and all kinds of healers, all kinds of people, just about how to help heal ourselves today and balance it, because ultimately we're living in sort of this like masculine patriarch society, and out of that place it was like I felt like men needed a safe space to come together, and so many of my clients were just saying, I just don't like feel comfortable around other men. I know, being married to a woman, I see how like I'm uncomfortable around other men. I can only imagine how uncomfortable she is.
Wow.
But a lot of women don't know that men also are, and I think men make up for that in how they like buck up or act tough. Ultimately, we're all like little kids who are just trying to like get love and validation and feel safe and secure. And inside of that, I just keep looking in the world around me for what's needed and how I can make a difference. And it became clear that the leadership I was waiting for, I needed to step into myself, and I needed to be that leader. It wasn't gonna just Someone wasn't gonna come along and just save me, And so I created the Lion's Den. It came to me as a place like I was thinking about calling in your kingdom and creating your life and being powerful in the face of uncertainty inside of the pandemic and creating what you needed. So I thought of something about a lion came to mind, and a lion's den is a place where mostly people think of like lions eat lions, but this is a place where men can go. So it's a 12-week program for intimate group of men where men can gather and be coached through spaces led by me and myself and my co-host John Tran, and we coach men through the topics that men deal with most, and also just in help connecting them and challenges throughout the week to help to connect them more to their heart and what matters to them. So I coach men one-on-one, I coach women, but the Lion's Den was my first group coaching program that I saw was needed, and it's just so much fun and so liberating and so healing for all kinds of men. Because I think the best way men can show up for their partners or for their world is to help work on themselves. And a lot of us did not get those messages, and we're still all like women are dealing with that stuff too.
Yeah.
So eh, that's that's kind of how the Lions Den came about. And I just want to be a powerful stand for people to be unapologetically themselves, whether that's vulnerable, sensitive, creative. Like they are powerful, to create spaces for them to step into that, because we are like the quote says, it's our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. So stepping into power in moments of terror or fear or uncertainty is really scary and challenging. So sometimes it just takes asking for help or having a coach or a group of people or a tribe to help lift you up and listen to your greatness in times when you may not be able to hear your own. You're at the effect of life.
That was gonna be my second question, actually, because I'm sure you probably have or have not seen the memes and the TikTok videos about the Lion King right now.
I actually have stayed away from that, so I don't know about the recent Lion King videos. I guess I should.
So there's a theory that Scar ate Mufasa.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, like, what do your thoughts on lions eating other lions?
Mm-mm. Yes, I did hear that. Okay, I did know about that. Um, there's certain times recently when I've tried to stay out of social media due to the
Mm-hmm.
what's going on in the world.
Wait, oh my God, did I say Simba? I meant Mufasa.
No, you said
Oh my
Mufasa.
God. I'm like the Queen Disney, and I messed up. I
No,
messed
no,
up. My
no,
bad.
no. You said Mufasa, so I think they were
Did I
just
say
answering your
Mufasa?
question.
But okay. But anyway, keep going.
So ask me the question one more time. I got sidetracked.
What are your thoughts on Scar eating Mufasa?
Um, I say whatever story serves the narrative and the lens you see life through. So it depends on the day, right? I could see that, and that's an easy target. He's an easy target just because he's got a
Right, right.
scar. Like under that scar is like I think the reason he's so vicious is because he was the one who didn't get the love, right? So that's what happens. Like people end up in prison or criminalized or judged or whatever, mistreated and seen in a really evil way. And I think most of that is just those people not having the tools or the awareness or the love that they needed or need. And so I think we really couldn't love each other enough. I mean, I think even through everything we're going through politically, I know it's cliche, but since the beginning of time, that's been the thing that has been the strongest and the longest lasting and the most healing. So I'm just always about, no matter what I do, even when I play really, really evil, fucked up men, uh, I always try to bring the love, because ultimately
Yeah.
if you can try to find the humanity, that'll help you. The people I send the most love to are the people that I understand the least, or the people I disagree with the most, or the people I feel
Yeah.
most challenged by.
Yeah.
So I think these are all ways to kind of deal with uncertainty during this time,
Word.
including like
Word.
loving on yourself. Like if you're sick, and I have a client that's really dealing with a lot of different chronic illnesses and disorders going on in his body, and we just do a lot of meditation, and imagine him sending love to different parts of his body each day, and he's said he's already starting to feel better, because we're quick to like
Mhm.
throw medicine at things, but we don't actually get at what's underneath that, right? Like I think our bodies are really aware and trying to tell us things. And sometimes being sick can also be like detox. Like you can be cleansing if you've been going through a big transition, or you're up leveling, or you're expanding. Your body can often get sick to detox. Like I think shed the old stuff, make way for the new stuff.
Kabar just said, to shed a different perspective, you're not always going to get what you want, but that doesn't mean you should turn into a villain.
That's true.
True, true. Okay. So what is your definition of toxic masculinity?
Mm.
Masculinity.
Um,
Masculinity.
it's, well, another word for it could be wounded masculine. So I would say any masculinity. So I'm not talking about male or female. Masculine, feminine energy are two different things that we all have. So feminine energy is connected to emotion, to the flow of life, to the movement, to the change of seasons, to spontaneity, to sensitivity, to nurture, to nature. And then the masculine is more about order and structure, discipline, power, strength. Um, and so those things are both needed in all people. So toxic masculinity is any masculinity, those things like that power, that force, that direction that gets misdirected in a way that is not healthy. So another way of saying like toxic is just not healthy, right? Like
Yeah.
your body, if you have like kidney transplants or liver transplants or something, your body can be toxic or not. So there's ways. I mean, it can be as simple as what you put into it, right? Like you can do amazing. Uh, Again, a similar client who it's the same guy actually, but he's become pre-diabetic because of his conditions. And
Oh
first
no.
thing is going to the doctor. And I said, well, like another alternative that I've seen work for people is just going to the grocery store and us picking out like all the good stuff. And the more you feed your body with good stuff, the more it's going to crave that. So anyway, to stick with toxic masculinity, I think it's just misdirected energy that is not healthy. So that could be um, violence, abuse of power, um, hateful speech, um, uh, force, um, those kind of things. And so, and also, like the things just like man up, don't cry. Um, what a real man is like. Anything that you tell yourself to shut down your feelings, it's toxic because you're not
Yeah.
allowing that stuff to come. It's going to come out somewhere. And so if you shut it down, it can manifest as cancer. It can manifest as dis-ease because that's what it is. So it needs to be let out so that it has a place to breathe, and you got to feel to heal, you know. Even I was just on a live earlier with the incredible coach who had talked about losing a friend to cancer, and she said, she's, instead of stressing, she's looking for the blessing I really like
Yeah.
that. And even in loss, where can we look for the gratitude, and where can we look for the lesson? And I think inside of like looking at masculinity that's been toxic, like bullying is a great example of that. Even my father, who is he is one of the, so he was raised in Memphis, Tennessee in the 40s, and he's gay, and he was, that was just, there was just no space for that in that culture growing up then. He also loved black people. There was also not a lot of space for that growing up in his immediate um, circle, right, of other white people in Memphis back then. And um, he was unapologetic about it and would go see Martin Luther King, but he couldn't come to terms with this. And even inside of that, um, it took him a long time to be able to own his emotions. And even him telling me that it's like real men cry, and he still had anger problems because he was still trying to accept himself. And but the one thing he taught me, because he knew, he could see, the oppression growing up, is that bullies are really just in more pain than us. And it's just
Yeah.
misguided anger. And they've probably been mistreated. And it doesn't mean that it's okay. It's just if we can understand each other, then we're more likely to be able to have a conversation.
So you mentioned earlier that you're an actor,
Mm-hmm.
and you went to Tisch and the Lee Strasberg film for the art.
Mm-hmm.
And what would that experience like?
Mm. There's
Because
a
my
lot.
background, sorry, my background is theater as well.
Yeah. Where did you go to school? Or did you?
Florida State.
Oh, cool. I looked at that
Yeah.
going there too. I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So we had a cousin who lived in New York. She was the only actor in our family. She was on Broadway in this soap opera in the 80s called Loving. She was actually on it with Bryan Cranston, who I met at her funeral when she passed. And
I'm so sorry.
he's it's okay. It's she lived a long, beautiful life. And we would come visit her, and I always knew I wanted to go to New York. And so I told my dad, like, my parents wouldn't let me go to the West Coast because my sister was there and she didn't come home for a long time. So they said, we both wanted to get out of the South, and really, like, our parents did a good job of helping us travel and see the world and understand how important it is to learn from other cultures. And that's why, like, my upbringing in the South, I mentioned all these things, it was very rare, right, in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so I just wanted to go to NYU. My dad didn't know how to tell me we couldn't afford it, but I ended up getting in, and I got an acting scholarship. And we still couldn't afford it, and we just kept praying and looking for options, and we got some more loans, and they actually increased my scholarship, which was amazing. And we just went for it. We bit the bullet. We took out a lot of money, which I'm still paying off. Mostly paid off now.
Let's not talk about
So
loans right now.
a boy
Let's
from
not cry together.
yeah. So a small kid from Chattanooga, sensitive kid going to the big city and getting into like the school of his dreams was just incredible. And I was just
Yeah.
on fire. I just unleashed. It was like the first time, like, being an actor and being like sensitive was sexy. Like, women actually respected me for the first time, and I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm the best, finally.
What acting technique do you prefer?
Oh, and Strasbourg, you're asking me about that. I really liked, so I don't think I prefer my acting technique because that's what works best for me. So
Hmm.
I really think you've got to do what works for you. No one technique is the best. I was already in
Yeah.
my body a lot and an athlete, so I really believe that, method Lee Strasberg studied from Stanislavski, and Adler came from that too. And
Yeah.
but he really learned to tap into real emotion and real feelings, but it's often misunderstood. And I think method work is really important, but not needed to be carried into the theater. Like it's the stuff you do like in the gym, like the workouts you do, and those kind of reps, so that you get that emotional release, because you store a lot in the body, and sense memory sense memory is a great access to it. But I also did the exact opposite, and I went to the experimental theater wing and studied physically based approach performance, and
Yeah.
so sort of like outside in, and studied clowning and mask work and Grotowski and like Russian movement and all that stuff, which was profound and made the other balance the method work, like help me embody it, which I think is so important. So I embody everything I do, and that's why I call myself an embodiment coach, because if you can get in your body, you can channel joy at any
Yeah.
time, you can release emotion at any time, you can manifest anything by getting in your body, because your body almost doesn't know the difference between what you create and visualize and cellularly tell it versus what's happening in real life, you know? Like if you celebrate everything, your body's going to start thinking like this is good, and it's going to channel and work more in your favor of what you want. Um, so it's extraordinary. We're such complicated beings with such simple, beautiful systems to tap into. And being an actor really allowed me to be self-expressed unapologetically and lead other people to. I just want people to do what they love, you know,
Yeah.
really. And so, like, what this seems like something you're passionate about.
Oh my God, I miss acting every day.
Yeah.
Literally.
So is that
I
how
miss
you
it
stopped?
so much.
How did you
Huh?
start this? Did this start from breaking up, from going through a breakup?
Yeah.
And
I
you're
got
like, fuck that, I'm going to take my power back and interview the people who are doing the same.
no, no, not at all.
Okay. What is it then?
No, I was going through a
Excuse
breakup
me.
and no, I'm so sorry. No, I was never really big into social media.
Mm,
I only used it to promote my shows that I was in. Like, oh, I'm acting in this play next week. Go check it out if you want to, you
same
know.
here.
But then I
Same
went through
here.
my breakup, and you know how they say when you're feeling sad, like write it down, write down your feelings. I'm like, I don't like to write. I don't have
Mm,
time for that, you
mm,
know. So I literally just picked up my phone every day for like 3 months, and I said, "How are you feeling, Ashley?"
mm,
And I didn't upload it until the 4th of July. I had no more space on my phone, but I was like, let's just upload this, but I'll leave it
mm.
private and then I'll keep going. I accidentally made it public, and I was like, oh, people are receptive to this. I guess I'll keep going.
Nice.
And
Nice. Way to
yeah,
go with the flow.
yeah,
Follow that
yeah.
powerful feminine
So
energy.
it's kind of like performance art, but I'm just being myself, which is
Mm,
awesome.
cool. And you're asking great
Yeah.
questions.
Okay. So you used to practice magic?
Yes, I still do. So like here's a rock, and you can just get out that way. I mean, it's a little easier with a camera, I guess, but
Oh,
I've been
oh
doing
my God!
I've been
I've
doing
never seen
yeah,
that was so cool.
I've been doing magic since I was about 4 years old, and it just um, something I fell in love with. I met David Copperfield when I was 4, and I started performing. And like most families, my family household was not always kind and loving, and I found that performing kind of made people happy and brought joy and helped me feel better, and it gave me confidence, and I loved it. So I started doing magic. My parents got me a magic kit. At age 13, I started getting paid, doing birthdays, produced a full-scale illusion show at age 17. At age 19, I got an agent in New York for it. I performed all over the place, and I've incorporated it in theater. And if you look up on YouTube, on my YouTube page, which is on my in my bio and my link tree, there's something called "Dude, You're Getting a Cell," and that's my like one man. That's an excerpt from my one man show, which is physical theater, performance art, magic, and storytelling about my life. Kind of getting arrested as the Dell dude and sort of the downfall and going through 9/11 and freedom from suffering, which is ultimately my story. Like the artist, felt like we need to suffer, and I just learned from all this stuff and life experience that, life's short and you can stop suffering when you want to. And you just need to sometimes ask for help and get empowered and change your actions. And like you starting
Yeah.
this is a way to do that. Like you were like, you know what, I could sit around and feel sorry for myself, or I could start talking about it. And when you talk about it, you give other people permission to do the same. So no wonder that this has continued to go well for you.
I think it's going well. I don't know. Okay. Okay. What is Dirty May?
Oh, Dirty May is my band. Uh, Dirty May is we felt like if our band had like a, I don't know, if she was a personified, her name would be Dirty May, and she's like a little dirty and a little sassy, and she's gritty, but she's got that like feminine energy. That's why we call Dirty May a she. And it's like New Orleans folk rock blues and grit. My wife Cassie Fireman's the lead singer. I play guitar and banjo and
That's
harmonica.
your wife?
Yeah,
She's gorgeous.
yes, she is. Yeah, that's my
Oh,
wife, and then
man.
our best friend Robbie, who co-founded the band with us. He's an exceptional musician and singer as well. So we just all met in New York making music in Harlem together. Like, you know, we just all connected in the blues and soul. And Robbie just turned 30. I just turned 40. My wife is
You look
somewhere
good for
in
40.
between there. Thank you. And I think part of it
What's
is
the
just
secret to staying young?
do what you love and take care of your body. That's it. I take care. But also as to support my acting career, I've been a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher and a wellness coach. And I found that a lot of my clients I started with were in their 80s, and I asked them what they did, and they were just like moving their body every day.
Yeah.
My wife's grandmother's about to turn 101. She
Jeez.
says it's diet, exercise, and social. So eat well, move your body. She rides an exercise bike for 20 minutes twice a day, and she does stretches in bed, and she walks up and down her hallway with her walker once a day, and then social life. So like socializing with loved ones. Um, yeah. So those three things. That's what Grandma says.
How
Oh
can
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
laugh?
Wait. Let me say. So Dirty Maze all over everywhere. We've just released our full length album. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon Music, all those places. So you can listen to us
Word,
everywhere.
word. I'll make sure to tag you guys on that.
All right.
How can we laugh in the places that we used to cry?
Ah, God, what a beautiful question. We go create new experiences there. We laugh because we say so, because our tears don't have to define us. And I think if we can allow ourselves to cry, then there can be space for laughter. But they're very similar emotions. They're both a release. And I think just really what's coming to me now is finding the gratitude and the lesson in every situation. So, we talked a little bit about loss at the beginning. I've been thinking a lot about life and death. I'm about to become an uncle for the first time, and you know, yeah, I'm really excited. My sister-in-law is about to have a baby, and our grandmother is lived her life, and so we just sort of thinking a lot about life, and I think even inside of loss, if we can find, like, I've lost a lot of people I was close with, even my age and younger, and I really think about when I feel sad. I often laugh because I try to think about the funniest parts of them and what made them so special. And if they were here right now, would they want me to like just go cry and ruin the rest of my day, or go live my life and find joy in those moments? So even in places where I've had tears and fear in the ocean, terrified, I taught myself to surf so I could learn to have fun and have a whole new experience inside the ocean and to move with it. and now no longer let it just be this thing that will always scare me. So it still will always scare me, and I know how to have a lot of fun in it safely. So those are like that's a choice, right? You go create new experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the
Why do you
Angry
think
Girl
that?
said it's a beautiful thing, both of them. It's all choice and everything is a gift. Mm.
Adrienne's she's such a she's like a cheerleader firecracker.
She
She's
seems like a
always just
spiritual cheerleader here.
she's a spiritual cheerleader. Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Spiritual cheerleader. That's exactly what she is.
Yes.
um, why do you think men have the number one suicide rate in? I want to say the world, but I want to also say the country. But you know what I'm
No, it's
saying.
the world.
The world.
Yeah, because of the pressure. So we're in a patriarchal society, like no doubt everywhere, and the pressure that men are taught to take on. Like mostly, I work with men on how to release all this stuff that they've taken on that's not even theirs. Like, and we're talking about
Mhm.
like sort of heteronormative stuff, but like in a relationship with a man and a woman and a couple, or just let's say no, screw that, two people. There's often like an energy where someone feels like they have to fix something or take everything on, and then the other person is just like, can you just hold space for me? And so men have literally been programmed to fix and be a real man by taking everything on, by feeling like we have to carry the weight of all the burdens financially, physically, energetically, which is ultimately impossible, takes the power away from our partner, allows no space for anyone else, including ourselves, because it's an unwinnable battle, and you end up in this
Mhm.
shame and guilt thing that turns you into a victim. So a lot of men are actually walking around as these loud, proud victims because they are trying to like look tough and act like they can carry it rather than just saying like I need help, or baby, like let me empower you, like can you take on some of this with me? I don't know how to do this. I'm afraid to do this. And so yeah, all that.
Ex-wives have been rated as one of the number one reasons men have wait. Oh, number I'm just going to read this. Sorry.
Shoot it.
Ex-wives have been rated as one of the number one reasons men cite that they find that the world is a hostile and dangerous place for males. Do you agree or disagree?
So the question is, wait,
Are ex-wives the number one reason why men are so hostile and volatile?
what?
That's I didn't make this up. I swear to God. I swear to God, I didn't make this
Yeah,
up.
who
I
did
swear
though? I'm like, who said that? What's that from? What's the source?
to God. Google doesn't lie.
Okay. I mean, Google does. Google tells you whatever you want it to tell you, because depending on what part of the country you're in, one of the reasons we're so divided is because you can Google the same thing and it'll tell you two completely different views. So you got
Mhm.
to be careful what you Google and what you believe. So men, that has nothing to do with ex-wives. That's a victim story right there. What you just
Mhm.
said, that is all a victim story. So that is blame story. So putting blame on someone else, trying to box men into that they would fight that much over exes, and that there's even a connection between that. And then it also makes them victims because it means that they're powerless and they're blaming someone for why their life isn't working. So you could put that on women, the same thing. Like I think there's women who probably would say they have a hard time because they're exes and the story that they served them. Like my father went into a marriage knowing, like, committed to this woman, but knowing he had a strong attraction to men that he was repressing. So my mom's right to be angry about that, and she went into a marriage knowing that she didn't really love this man, and so she could hold him angry, like make him wrong for being gay and leaving her, or she could own her part and say, actually, like, it wasn't serving either of us for me to be in this marriage, and the most loving thing I could do is to release him. So maybe this is a gift, and we can learn to release each other of this blame and just take part in ownership for our part.
You're very smart.
Thank you. I
Sorry, that
listen to
wasn't
my
a
heart.
question. Sorry, that was just.
I listen to my heart.
Okay, where can we like you, stalk you, follow you, all that fun stuff?
Right here, baby. Stalk me all day long here on YouTube. I love getting messages. I love getting comments. I check all of my messages. So if you direct message me on Instagram, that's a great way. You can also follow me on YouTube. And if you're a guy, like check out my Facebook group, The Lions Den. It's all in my link tree, all in my bio here. So if you want to talk, I work with men and women and anyone on stepping in their power and healing any story that is still holding you back. Because I was a victim. I used to say this too. I just caught myself. I used to always say I was a victim of 9/11. Like I've lived through addiction and PTSD, like severe trauma, and September 11th, and many relationships, and um, I've just seen a lot. You know, I've traveled the world, and I've spent a lot of time in third world countries. I've spent a lot of time.
Wow.
My whole family works with minorities and refugees, and I just try to learn from other people, and so I've got a lot to offer, and I want to help other people free themselves from suffering and learn to just to be more open and give themselves a chance, you know, and it's all just in conversation. And that's why I love coaching, because I get to really make a difference for people actively. Like I was just posting about a thing about therapy today. Like I had a coaching client that was like, man, I got more out of this in a week than I did in 15 years of therapy. And like I could have saved like $100,000, you know, and I say, you know, therapy has helped me a lot, but at some point you've got to get action in your life. Like you said at the beginning, you can't think your way to there. Like you can't think your way into right action. You've got to act your way into right thinking. So you doing
Wow.
this is creating a space for you to act your way into a healing space of after your breakup. You know, it's really cool.
If you don't mind elaborating on this, you've mentioned this a couple of times before. What happened during 9/11 that shifted your life?
Mm. Okay, yeah,
If you don't mind.
yeah, no, not at all. I'd be honored to. I've been talking about it since then because I was on television like basically 24 hours a day as the Dell computer dude. I was being interviewed every morning on a radio station and or news publication before I went to school, which I was in full time at Tisch, and I was auditioning 10 to 20 times a week. So it was like a pretty impossible schedule to uphold. And, uh, you know, the fame was getting to me, the pressure. And then uh, September 11th happened. I lived 2.5 blocks away. I watched it begin from my bedroom, literally from my bed. And my roommate had gone to try to document some of it. We didn't know quite how bad it was. So he was my best friend, Marcus Jones, and he still is my best friend. And we thought we lost each other that day. I ended up getting trapped underground. I saw a lot of people. Um, I saw a lot of death that day, and a lot of yeah. It's just you can spare you the details, but I was right there, so it just was so clear how short life is, how precious life is, and that at any moment, like you know, people deal with this in their backyards every day, and we Americans are like, oh my God, our precious country, and it is, but we go and bomb other countries like that all the time, and there's other countries that are dealing with it. I have cousins in Turkey, and my aunt, and they've already had so much loss in their family, but the threat of terrorism at any moment. They're both school teachers, you know, and trying to like help the children of the future, and uh, it can be hard and scary during these times. So the main lesson was like, you know, life's short, and do what you love, and let other people know you love. And that if you're willing to, we can get through anything together. Because that's when the cool thing is that New Yorkers really came together and communities got stronger. And my friends and I strengthen our relationships. And I have an understanding through loss, like a lot of connection and bond with people in New York. I know a lot of firefighters and guys who lost family members, and Now there's kids who are adults who are actually kids back then who lost their parents, like the famous stand-up comedian and
From SNL.
yeah, yeah. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Me as well.
Yeah, yeah. So he told his story too. Yeah, so that was my experience, and but I got to talk about it on the interviews, which is cool. So it helped me kind of heal and process, and if it wasn't for my arrest that like had made national headline news, it wouldn't that ended the Dell. I don't know. It could have gotten worse before I got better. So I was starting to use like drugs and alcohol to deal with the pain. I didn't really know that I had PTSD. It was undiagnosed. So my father came and helped me get into therapy and realize that probably medication might be a good thing, and that really helped level me out and get my life back together and understand and process what I was dealing with. And just talking about it like this, doing interviews really helped keep me alive because I had to show up every day. So it was all of that, and then suddenly my whole career was over um, for a while. So it was a wild ride, and so I just had to keep saying like, what's the lesson? What can I learn from this,
Yeah.
and how can I help other people?
Yeah. And then final question, and then I'll let you go.
Mm,
Do you ever think that there's a point in someone's life where they've self-sabotaged so bad that there's no going back?
absolutely not. No, not at
Wow.
all. Because you can start your life over at any moment, even if you've burned all of your bridges in one direction. What's to
Yeah.
stop you from creating your life newly from nothing now? I mean, we get attached to our stories and our pain and our loss. So I think even like I have friends who've been to prison, they were raised in environments that weren't the most loving, and then they were, made some decisions, or just because they were minorities ended up in compromised positions and led them to prison. And uh, even coming out of that, I think it's just healing that needed to be done. And
Yeah.
basically, that's what we all need, right? Like, um, yeah. Ask me the question one more time because there's something else that stuck out that I just needed to hear it.
Do you ever think that you've
All
self-sabotaged
right,
so
yeah.
badly?
You can't go back. Yeah. So thank you. It's reconnecting the dots. So why like these guys who've gone to prison and their lives are like, they feel totally like if you have a felony on your record, it's really hard to get a job. If you have multiple
Yeah.
kids with multiple people who won't let you see them but expect you to support them, and
Excuse me.
get a lot of compromised positions, it can feel like there's absolutely no way out. And there is when you say there is. Like you can learn from it and no longer have to be defined by it, right? Like there is a lesson, and so if you're willing to learn the lesson, if you're really willing to do the work, then I think you can always grow and learn. It's like the phoenix from the ashes. Like we have to sometimes sit in the shit before something beautiful can grow from it. But if we don't sit in it, then it just sits in there and turns into like it gets really bad down there. So we just
Yeah.
I've made a lot of mistakes. I've hurt a lot of people, and I made a lot of it, through like when I was going through the 12-step process. I made amends naturally, but I would go make amends, and there's people who forgave me and people who didn't. But either way, like we can take responsibility for our part of this, and that's ultimately, no matter how much hurt and pain you've caused. Ultimately, I think the people in your life want to see you well and doing well and taking care of yourself. And so if you can start over then and stop being like, I'm so sorry that I've messed up, that's all victim stuff. Like you gotta like that's why I think if you're willing to let that story go, then you can rise above. And that's when I think a coach is really incredible. I have a lot of clients who think they've just sabotaged that there's no help. And I'm like, well, if you're actually here willing to ask for help and we're talking, then you definitely can do this. You know, the fact that you're asking this question, like, I'm curious where that question comes from.
Are you saying that hypothetically? You're talking to
No,
me.
no, I mean for real. Like, where did that question come from?
I don't know. Like I've been really thinking, like since, like because like my family rushed me to the emergency room, and I was really thinking to myself, like, am I just trying to extend my expiration date?
Mm, mm,
Was I supposed to like go away like years ago, but I keep trying to extend it?
hmm.
You know?
Well, you're here. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, you
Me
didn't
neither.
choose to go to the emergency room, right? Like it just happened.
I mean, I verbally said yes, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, either way, you're here. So no matter what happened in the past, like you have a choice today, and you can choose to create whatever you want in your life.
Yeah.
And you don't have to let your past or even anyone in your past or your life now dictate who you are. You can actually recreate who you are in language and in new action and earn new trust and create new opportunities always. Um, it's only when we let our stories dictate us that we, live these smaller lives, that we cut ourselves off from possibility and purpose and passion. And if we can just be honest and real, that's all most people want. They just want you to be real and own it. Like, own that you messed up, that you sabotaged everything, that you'll never, you won't be able to live it up. And don't live that story for the rest of your life. You're going to be that like old person at the bar, like drinking themselves to death. If you know
Yeah.
like, that's an
They have some good
option.
stories though.
They do. And you're like the most sad person there because they're still reliving those. So there's an option
Yeah.
to choose a new action and a new life now. Oh man, Adri girl is just, this is
She's so
awesome.
nice.
Live, laugh,
She's way
love
too
all you
nice to me.
can, and there's a purpose for you, Ashley. You are a
She's way
creator.
too nice to me.
You are a
Okay,
creator, and you're a manifester too, Ashley.
who's playing you in your life movie? Because I really want to watch it.
Who's playing me in my life movie?
Is it
Ooh,
Orlando Bloom? You kind of look like him.
wow. I've never gotten that. Thank you. Um, no, it's hold on. I can see it. Um,
Jude
I
Law.
don't know who's gonna play that could be like my older self. Uh, hold on, it's coming to me. Oh my gosh.
Say the movie. I know a lot of movies and TV
Okay.
shows. Say it.
Blue Velvet.
Blue
Jake
Velvet.
Gyllenhaal.
You're so. This means such an Oscar-winning film.
I think I'd want Jake Gyllenhaal to play me.
It's gonna win an Oscar.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Jude Law or Sean Penn could play me when I'm older. And then who would play me when I'm younger? There's got to be some like, who's
I don't know a lot of young
who's the
actors.
French kid that was in like the he's in everything right now.
French.
Yeah, he's got a French name. I can't think of it
I
anyway.
don't know a lot of young actors. I've been like slacking with my movies and TV shows for like the past like 5 years.
Mm.
But I know a lot of classics.
Um, Bradley Cooper. I would want him to play my older self.
Ooh.
I
Oh, then he
feel
can
like
sing at the
I
end.
feel like Bradley Cooper and I are like kindred spirits a little bit. I don't know why. I used to hate him, and then I realized because he was just really good at playing an asshole. And then I saw
Yeah.
Silver Lining Playbook, and I was like, this is a multi-layered, incredible, beautiful human. And that's ultimately like, you know why? Because I saw more than one layer. So it's interesting how much I judged him when I saw this one-sided thing, which is how I used to feel about like all straight, like frat masculine, like testosterone out dudes. And then because all we would see is one layer. But if you show us different sides, suddenly you're like way more dynamic and way more sexy, and women are like, please be vulnerable. And
Yeah.
I I dated women who were like, okay, a little less vulnerability, you're a little too sensitive. And so I just had to learn like that was my strength and I had to own that. And now in my wife, I'm like, I am, and you married it, so you better get used to it.
And you married.
That's what I say now, right? But yeah,
Thank you so much
here
for
we
this,
are.
Ben. This was so rewarding.
Ashley, it was beautiful. Thanks for holding the space for me. You're great, great. You ask great questions, and you're
Oh,
just
thank
such a
you.
fun personality and person and human and easy to be with. And you've got a really big, beautiful heart. I can feel it from here.
Thank you.
So thank you for asking me to be part of this space with you. It's been a pleasure.
It's been the pleasure is all mine. Okay.
And thank you,
All right.
Adri, for being the like love light you are. Incredible.
Oh, Petey, I'm gonna message you. Okay. All right. Thank you so
Petey,
much for
you
this. You
gotta
have a good
watch
one.
the replay, brother.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Bye,
Much love.
Ben.
Peace. Bye.